Hi there, and welcome to Northeastern's Material Science Laboratory. My name is Harry Brodsky, and I'm a second-year mechanical engineering student here at Northeastern. I just took a class in material science, and I wanted to share with you some of the awesome things you get to learn here. For mechanical engineers, material science is one of the courses you get to look forward to. You get to learn about amazing things like crystal structure, and the differences between the three main classes of materials, such as ceramics, metals, and polymers. Let me start off with a question. What material science topic connects Kit Kat bars, airplane windows, and Challenger space shuttle disasters? If you said mechanical failure, you're right. Mechanical failure is all about when an object will bend and when it will break. This has to do with a lot of things. For instance, the material, the size and shape of the object, and even the temperature you're working at. We all know from experience that thin, fragile things tend to break when we apply a force. But what governs when something will shatter and when it just won't? To find out, first we gotta learn about stress. Stress is defined as the force applied divided by the cross-sectional area of the thing you're applying it to. Take the cylinder, for instance. You're applying a downward force, but it also matters what the cross-sectional area of the cylinder is. At this section right here, you're applying a stress of this force divided by this cross-sectional area. That means that if you have a very high force and a very small cross-sectional area, your material is going to experience a lot of stress. For instance, this elephant has decided to stand upon this one-legged stool. The stool has a very, very thin leg, and the elephant is very large. This means that that material is experiencing a large stress and may break. That is mechanical failure. On the contrary, someone has wisely placed this cup of milk on a large box. The cross-sectional area of the box is rectangular, and it's very large. And the weight of the cup of milk is not very high, which means the box is experiencing very low stress. Someone designed this table right. Now we get to learn some fancy words. In material science, when something bends but doesn't come back, it's called plastic deformation. Let me see if I can plastically deform this piece of steel. Got it. It's tough, but I can do it. Steel has a very high strength, which means that it can undergo a lot of stress before it plastically deforms. The amount of stress it can take before it plastically deforms is called its yield strength. Steel also has a strength at which it just breaks and can't bend anymore. That's called its ultimate tensile strength. Let's find out how much weight you could hang from a steel cable without it breaking. This elephant is always getting into some crazy predicaments. Let's see if she snaps the cable. This is a large African elephant, which can weigh up to 50,000 newtons. So we will assume a force of 50,000 newtons. The area is the area of the cable, which is pi r squared, where r is 1 centimeter. The area is therefore pi times 0.01 meters squared. Now, before we figure out how much stress this cable is under, let's figure out when it bends and when it breaks. This kind of steel has a strength of 400 megapascals. This means that at 400 megapascals of stress, the steel cable will break. That is its tensile strength. Let's find out if the stress this cable is under right now is enough to snap it. The stress is equal to the force divided by the area, which is equal to 50,000 divided by pi times 0.01 meters squared, which is only about 160 megapascals, which is less than the tensile strength of this steel. Therefore, this girl is safe. There's a little bit more we need to know about stress, especially for mechanical failure. Since stress is all about force divided by area, we can make the cross-sectional area smaller and thereby make the stress bigger. That's called a stress concentrator in our material. This can be good or bad. For instance, have you ever noticed how windows on airplanes are ovals and not squares? It's because of stress concentrators. Take a look. In this square design, the window has sharp corners, which are stress concentrators. The stress in those points are much higher than anywhere else in the plane. This means that if the plane goes through turbulence, at those points, the stress might be very high. This can mean bad things for your airplane. To avoid this danger, airliners have oval windows to reduce the stress on the outside of the window. But mechanical failure can also be a good thing. It can help us get into a candy wrapper, for instance. Have you ever noticed that most candy wrappers have these saw teeth on the edges of the wrappers? That's to help you get in. If they didn't have those, you wouldn't be able to open it so easily. If you notice, the area between the saw teeth is very small. That means that you get more bang for your buck with your force. If you open it just a little bit, at those points, it'll tear open, and you'll get to your delicious Kit Kat. Obviously, mechanical failure is a very important topic in material science. When I took the course, it was my favorite topic, because of how relevant it is in our daily lives. Who knew that even material science was factored in when they were designing Kit Kat wrappers? I sure didn't. I hope you enjoy your material science course and good luck with your career at Northeastern.